Hello, this is Sayyid Mudawar, welcoming you all to the Power Tea. Dear friends, today's hot topic that we are going to discuss is the issue of reservations. This topic is more in the news, especially in Jammu and Kashmir, because the people of J&K have gotten their elected government after a long time. During the period when Jammu and Kashmir got converted into a union territory, many new laws and regulations were introduced in Jammu and Kashmir, and an extension of reservation and cumulative increase by 20% within the last 5 years when J&K did not have an elected government has completely transformed the competing dynamics within the region. The economically weaker section category was introduced that added 10% to the percentage of reservations, and scheduled tribe status was given to a band of 4 different tribes: Pandaris, Pahadis, Kolis, and wait for this one, the Gadda Brahmins, with an additional quota of 10%. This took the overall percentage of reserved seats to 60%. The two additions need to be looked at separately, and the stories behind both the cases of addition of quota are a bit different and show some sort of insincerity and lack of constructive policy making on the part of governments of those times. First, the economically weaker section category and its percentage being 10% is a one-size-fits-all kind of a situation. India should not be viewed as a uniform country due to its diverse socio-economic profile. The fundamental philosophy behind the bringing of affirmative action in the form of reservations was the equitable redistribution of resources like property among the deprived and marginalized communities, in order to undo the wrongs of history created by Brahminical patriarchy. Jammu and Kashmir long ago had redistributed the land of the region through the Big Landed Estates Abolition Act in 1950. This has to be one of the most important contributions of Janab Sheikh Muhammad Abdullah, as due to this move, a more or less egalitarian distribution of land could be realized. This made almost all the citizens similarly poised in their core economic strength. The situation can be substantiated by 2 key data points that reflect this as being true. The first is that the poverty rate in Jammu and Kashmir is less than the national average. The Jammu and Kashmir poverty rate is a menial 2.81% for the year 2023 according to a report by Niti Aayog, while the national poverty rate according to the report by SBI was at 4.5 to 5%. This figure, as confusing as it sounds, can be used for comparison to conclude that such a huge quota to EWS is not smart policy and rather leaves scope for corruption in the bureaucracy for inclusion of people who don't deserve to be in this category. So, in this category, if the government wishes, it can genuinely make a sizable cut to give a breather to the already distressed general category. The second case of the reservation is the award of 10% additional scheduled tribe quota, which was done to avoid the backlash from the existing ST quota of 10% dominated by the Gujjar and Bakawal tribe. This 10% quota was not given blindly, as the demand for scheduled tribes status is not new, especially in the case of Pahadi community. However, by the time ST status was given, this demand had died due to multiple rejections by the central governments and multiple governors of the time. It was only during Sri Satyapal Malik's governorship in early 2019 when he was running the state without a legislative assembly, even though the legislative council existed, that the demand of Pahadis got a sanction with a reservation of 4% in the ST category. This was the year 2019. What followed was the inclusion of other tribes, and the most peculiar inclusion came in the form of the Gadda Brahmins. Dr. Ambedkar formulated the whole reservation policy to reverse the damage of millennia caused to the oppressed by the Brahminical patriarchy, and Jammu and Kashmir became the only unit of India to offer reservation to the most deprived caste of the Hindu society for the last 2 millennia, the Brahmins. The caste that has been held responsible by Dr. Ambedkar for institutionalizing deprivation, discrimination, untouchability, and oppression of the Dasas and Dasyus, who ultimately turned into Shudras of the Brahminical order, has been given reservation and declared a scheduled tribe, and this can only happen in Jammu and Kashmir. I don't know how to judge this politically for a Hindu, but for sure, this seems like a blowback to the philosophy of reservation, the way it was constituted by Dr. Ambedkar. Why do I say this? Is because To be honest, Jammu and Kashmir has been a plain road for the BJP for the last 5 years, during which they haven't had any accountability to the people of the region, and they have infused policies that, good or bad, might be detrimental to the future of the region, wherein we might be able to witness access to state offices only to a select set of people. It seems to be a matter of trust and also a matter of ideological preference. But such designs are in a way retrograde in nature, making other people deprived of power. It is a feeling that only we are good to rule and no one else. But surely, this is an anti-scientific approach towards governance that shows the state's bias. The educational predicament that Jammu and Kashmir is in, along with the whole country, needs more deeper pondering and insight. Jammu and Kashmir in particular is a factory of graduates who have only the state to look upon for employment. This is the case with most of the degree holders in J&K. Gadda Brahmins are no different in this case, and in a way should be offended at having been shown as backward. I don't see that as something wrong, but this must have affected the Brahmin pride. Having been pushed into a category of people to ensure their presence in state offices is a bit too much of a favor, which I believe even they wouldn't be comfortable with. It seems to be a new design of creating a new state setup that puts affairs of state only with those who are born worthy. We are supposed to be proud of our culture, but if we are making people who have played a vital part in creating this culture as a backward tribe, it is not a favor but disrespect to the parading pride that the new India is filled with. In an attempt to repair Jammu and Kashmir's functioning, they should not institutionalize the reservation in a manner that an order that once led to the breaking of India into many states in ancient and medieval times can be recreated as in the age of democracy. Such things are not supposed to last forever. If there is a need for the inclusion of Gadda Brahmins in the reservation, there should be a survey and report compiled by the region-specific committee, because the outside interference in ground realities might be a parachute landing approach towards problem solving, which is not recommended for the indigenous growth of a particular social mix. I don't want to confuse my audiences over policy as a matter, but certainly, if consultations are made, we can make a better reservation policy that gives everyone their due and also relieves the anxious open merit category. I hope you liked this snippet and would request you to make suggestions in the comments, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. This is me, Syed Mudavar, signing off. But please stay tuned for the next episode, as it will take into account the whole country and its reservation policy. Please remember me in your good prayers and reach out to me on my social media handles, so that together we join this effort towards improving the society. Thank you all and goodbye.